The tip-up palm is a very quick and efficient way to get one or several cards palmed into the right hand. It looks like this. Cards are just palmed in and placed on the top of the table. And you can palm one or you can palm several cards off the top of the pack. Done slowly, pardon me, it looks like this. You get a break under one or several cards, and the cards are pushed forward slightly with the right thumb, not with the tips of the fingers this way. The break under the thumb, they're moved slightly forward about 1/4 of an inch. The right fingers are on the top edge of the card, the little finger at the corner. A downward pressure, the left thumb guides the cards into the palm like that, and the cards are palmed. When this palm is executed, you must be very, very careful. So when the cards are pushed in, that the right thumb does not extend to get the cards in the proper position. The thumb must be held dead still. The cards go right into the palm, and the cards are placed on the table. This is what it looks like done from below. The cards are pushed forward, downward pressure. The thumb guides the cards over into the palm as the cards are squared and placed on the table. That's the tip-up palm, and it's very, very similar to the bird palm that we're going to talk about in just a few minutes. Now you remember I said you don't push the card forward with the fingertips and then press down to get it in the palm. The card is moved forward between the thumb and the fingers like this, except you only move it forward about 1/4 of an inch. The little finger is on the upper corner and the remaining fingers lay across the end of the card. There's a downward pressure. The right thumb does not move at all. There's a downward pressure and the card goes right into the palm. Remember, when the palm is executed, do not adjust the thumb. That's prone to happen when this palm is done. Done at speed, it's done like this with no movement of the thumb whatsoever, and the cards are placed on the table. The Berg palm is named after Joe Berg, who was a magic dealer for many, many years in Chicago, and then he moved to Los Angeles and opened a magic shop out there. Here's the Berg palm. It's very similar to the tip-up palm in that there's a downward pressure. But this is what the palm looks like. And when this palm is done, you can palm one or several cards just like you do when you do the tip-up palm. It's more refined to this extent. The deck is held in dealer's position with the thumb on the upper left corner. The cards are slightly beveled. The right little finger comes over and can either pick up or just push forward the top card. The card pivots flat on the deck. A downward pressure makes it come into the palm. In other words, the left thumb is held here, the little finger moves the card across the pack like this, and then the downward pressure causes it to come up like that under cover of the hand. If the palm is done with several cards, a break is held at the back, and the same thing is executed, and the cards are squared, and you can palm several cards off the pack. From beneath, it looks like this. Thumb is over here on the upper left corner, little finger here. The card moves flatly across the top of the pack. A downward pressure causes it to move into the palm, and then the cards are squared and placed on the tabletop. And that it will be easier to be seen when we film it from the back in just a moment. Now you remember the Berg palm, the thumb is at this corner. The little finger takes the card at this end. The other fingers remain, the thumb is down here. The card moves across the pack. Then a downward pressure of the little finger causes the card to press into the palm. Remember again, no movement of the thumb, and if the index finger is curled in slightly, it gives a nice look to the hand as the cards are placed on the table. Now I'll do that again at speed. The card is pushed over right into the palm and the cards are placed onto the table. Now all of the palms we've talked about earlier have been very easy to do. The Erdnase top palm is not quite as easy, but if you understand exactly what it is you're trying to do, it's not difficult. This palm is different from the others in that all of the palms we've discussed so far have had a downward pressure to propel the card up into the hand. The Erdnase top palm is vastly different, and when it's executed at speed, it just looks like this. cards are palmed, and you can also palm one or several cards using this technique. Here's what happens. As it's described, the cards are held at the fingertips with the index finger curled beneath, the little finger of the left hand at the lower left corner. The right hand with the index finger curled approaches the pack. The little finger of the right hand picks up the top card. The index finger extends while the backward pressure or pressure between the two little fingers causes the card to move out. In other words, the palm is controlled between those two little fingers. It moves out like this, and then it's snapped into the hand with the second and third finger, and then the cards are squared and placed on top of the table. Now I'll do that again. I'll do it very, very slowly. The cards are held at the fingertips. The right little finger picks up one or several cards. There's a backward pressure between the two little fingers. In other words, when I push back with my right little finger, it jams against the left little finger. The left little finger just extends and moves the card under cover of the right hand. The second and third finger, primarily the third finger, presses the card up into the palm. The little finger releases it, and the cards are brought back, squared, and placed at the fingertips. Now there's a variation on that palm. It can be done from a dealing position. It's a little more strained when it's done from here, but the grip is identical. The little finger is stressed a little to hold back, but the same thing happens if you're working at a table. This is much nicer, and it looks like this, and the card can come from beneath the thumb, and the card is palmed. I'll do that with my hands tipped up. The cards are in dealing position. The little finger picks up, presses back, the left little finger extends, and snaps the cards into the hand. It's a little more confined, and it's a little more stressed, but it looks very nice when it's done at the table, and then the cards can be put down like this. And this is what this looks like from the back. Now the ordinary top palm from the back looks like this. Remember, there's no downward pressure. The left little finger is down here. The right little finger is at the corner so that it can pick one card up in that manner. The other fingers are at the side. When the palm is executed, the right finger picks up the card, makes a backward pressure, presses in this direction so that the card can freely move between the two little fingers like this. The card is pushed back, the left little finger extends and puts the card right into the palm. The third finger presses in, and the card is snapped right up, and there's absolutely no motion whatsoever of the right hand. The right hand remains completely dead through the entire palm. Done at speed, it looks like this. Cards are at the fingertips. Cards are squared and placed onto the table, and that's that. Now, to make the little adjustment and do it from the dealer's position, the cards are just lowered into the hand. The procedure doesn't change. The right little finger picks up here. There's a little strain on the left little finger as it comes around, but the card comes off the pack just the same. It passes underneath the thumb. The left thumb doesn't move. This thumb doesn't move. The right hand doesn't move except to leave the pack. And that's the little adjustment and the variation in the ordinary top palm. And this works very, very nicely when you're seated at a table. Now here's a palm that I like very, very much. I call it the small packet palm. I came up with this myself about 10 or 12 years ago because it can be done with a small packet. It can also be done from a regular deck, and it works nicely seated at the table because the hands are in dealing position. The cards are simply squared and placed on the table. I'll do that again at speed. You simply square the cards and place them on the table. Now that's easier to execute. It has all of the attributes, but a little bit easier to execute than the ordinary top palm. Here's what happens. If you want to palm one card, you do it like the ordinary top palm. You just pick up one card with a little finger after the cards have been beveled. Then all you do is move the card over less than 1/4 of an inch so that it is on the pack of cards like that. Now the index finger of the right hand extends slightly and catches this corner and propels the card backward into the palm. it goes right in and is pressed up, and all it appears is that the cards are squared. Now, if you want to do it with several cards, you simply get a break under, and you can pivot the cards around by making a motion like that with one hand to make this corner come around. Or you can do just like you did, push them over a little bit, index finger is extended, move back, and the cards come from right under the thumb. There is no appreciable movement of either hand. The only movement is a slight backward movement of the index finger and then movement of pressing the cards into the hand with the left, second, and third finger. And here's what it looks like at speed. You simply square the cards and place them on the table. If you want to do it from under the thumb, you just simply square the cards come from under the thumb, and hand reposes on the table. Now, the reason that I like it so much is because a packet of 5 cards, it's difficult to do an Erdnase top palm with 5 cards because the cards are flexible and they bend. But with this palm, if you want to palm 2 cards, you simply push the cards over, they come from under the thumb, and you can place the cards on the table and go about it. I use it in cards up the sleeve, and I also use it in the slow motion aces, Dave Vernon's slow motion aces. And it works very nicely as a small packet palm because you just place the cards down. And that's the small packet palm that can be done with a full packet. And it's easier than the Erdnase palm to learn, and it might be something that some of you would like that you haven't seen before. Now, this little palm has all the attributes of the Erdnase top palm. You can palm 1 or several cards, but it works better with a small packet than the Erdnase palm does. Here's what happens. The little finger picks up 1 or several cards and moves them slightly over so that the cards are slightly diagonal on the pack. The index finger extends forward just a little bit and is drawn back, and the card is propelled into the palm. The second and third finger press up, and the card is drawn from underneath the thumb. Now, done at speed, it looks like this. And the cards are placed on the table. Now, done with a small packet, it's very much the same. If you want to palm 2 cards off, all you do is get a break beneath the 2 cards, push them over, it's done like this, and the cards are tossed on the table as you reach to pick up or you do whatever it is you want to do. The small packet palm is very, very good.